Hey everybody, bringing you an insurance tip this week. We're going to talk about workers' comp. Workers' comp is a very simple policy, but the back end on how it's rated and its cost can be very confusing. So I wanted to run through a couple of tips real quick to make sure if you have workers' comp or you're thinking about getting workers' comp that you don't have an issue at the end of the policy period during the audit. A lot of times you have an audit and that's when you find out all the bad things and that you owe extra money. Starting off, Georgia rules. Who should have a workers' comp policy? If you have a business, 0 employees, you can get a workers' comp policy. In Georgia, if there are 3 people minimum working in a company, you have to have workers' comp by state law. The thing is, as an owner or an officer of the company, you can't exclude yourself, all right? So you don't count towards the cost of workers' comp, but you count towards this 3 number in qualification for having workers' comp. So if there's 2 officers of the company, 1 employee, by Georgia law, you should have a workers' comp policy. Second thing, biggest question I get, what counts towards the payroll? Well, of course, your W-2 employees, okay? Those count, all right? So your regular employees you're paying. Also, 1099, all right? Somebody thinks because they have I see this a lot in contractors, you're subcontracting the work out. If that subcontractor does not carry his own or her own workers' comp insurance, you're responsible for any money you pay them on your workers' comp policy. Because technically, if they're injured, they can file against your policy because they don't carry their own. So if you're subcontracting work, just make sure that you are collecting certificates of insurance and verifying workers' comp coverage for any of your subs. Or expect at audit time to have to pay on that cost. All right, let's talk about what makes how an actual workers' comp policy is rated. Every classification, there's class codes. So if you have a restaurant, to an insurance agent, to carpentry, there's a class codes for every vocation. Those class codes base what's called a rate per 100. All right, so in this example, let's use class code 9082. That's a restaurant. All right. And for this example, this is a policy I just wrote for a client recently. The rate per 100 is $2.48. A lot of times when somebody's buying a policy or has a policy, they're always focused on the total premium they're paying. Okay? So if it's $10,000, that's what they're focused on. Payroll fluctuates for any company throughout the year. What you need to stay focused on is making sure your classification is correct, all right, that it properly describes your business, okay, and then your rate per 100, all right. So if you have payroll, they're going to basically build a percentage off of that. They take your total payroll you paid out, divide it by 100, and multiply that by the factor of the rate per 100 for the class code. Stay focused on this number, all right? If you're out getting price shopping or looking at just getting a different policy, you need to focus on the rate per 100. Yes, there's other fees that can apply in there, but if you stay focused on the rate per 100, you can see the variation between the different quotes you're getting. When I'm pricing out clients, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, definitely quality of company, making sure it's an A+ rated carrier, but this is where I'm going when I'm thinking about price. Because as your payroll goes up or fluctuates down, this is what affects it. This is what it's looking like. And you know, if you're getting a rate at 2.48 compared to 3.48, you got a dollar difference per $100 you pay on payroll. Stay focused on that, and that'll help you tremendously as you're looking around. On our next episode about workers' comp, we're going to get into assigned risk and some of the pitfalls and some of the things you need to look out when you're doing that in the state of Georgia. If you got any questions, feel free to direct message me. You can also reach me at ChapmanInsuranceGRP.com. Look forward to talking to you next week.